spaghetti. You can do this in a rice pot or in a pan, whichever you have on handy. I had already cooked the ground beef. You'll be adding onions. If you don't care for onions, you can omit it. How much you add doesn't really matter. It's up to you. I like a lot of onions. It also adds a sweetness to the dish. Okay, so I'm just gonna toss it a little. Normally you wait till it turns a little clear, but since we're gonna be cooking this for a long time, like in a rice pot, I'm not gonna bother. So I'm adding a can of diced tomatoes. The kids like ragu, so I like to stretch the ragu with tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, and then I just dump the whole bottle in. I put a little water in to get the rest of it out. Okay, and adds a little bit more moisture. Okay, I'll raise the heat a little. Okay, and to season for this size dish, I'm going to throw in 2 bay leaves. We can fish them out later. Italian seasoning, or in this case, herbs of the province, which is Italian seasoning. Be very generous with it. Since this is dry, it takes a lot to reconstitute it, so you're going to have to let it sit a while. I also use a lot of oregano. It was introduced in the United States from America. Well, it was introduced to Europe from America, I believe, and it caught on. And Americans tend to use it a lot in stew, and the Italians started using it in their spaghetti. Okay, so we got the bay leaf. I'm going to add a little heat to it, a little cayenne. How much you add is up to you. And I like a little paprika in. Some white pepper for flavor. Okay, and you got to remember, this is all dry, so it's got to reconstitute in the sauce. So it's going to take time. If you have wine, red wine, or even the white wine, but red wine is preferable, go ahead and put a splash in here. Okay. Now once this starts really heating up and boiling evenly, I'm going to turn it down to simmer. Okay. Now I'm going to hold off on the breadcrumbs because it gets too thick. So I want to reduce this a little bit. Give it a chance for the herbs to absorb and spread their oils around. Okay, so I'm going to lower this down to simmer. And if this is in a rice pot, you can just put it on warm and just let it sit for about an hour, or even longer if you have. The longer you let it simmer, the better. And if it's in a rice pot, you can let it, if there's enough liquid in there, you could let it sit overnight on warm. That would be even better because it gives the dry spices a good chance to really get in there, develop flavors. Okay, so this is your basic spaghetti sauce. You could eat it right now, but it'd be too, what I call, immature, and you actually get the dry spices. You could actually taste the individual dry spices. So you need to at least let this simmer for about an hour, and then, or while you're when you have this done at this point, then you go ahead and put it on warm on another burner and use your big burner to make your big pot of spaghetti. Or if you're using a rice pot, you can have this in a spoon this out in a separate container, and then spoon out what you figure you're gonna use. Bring your pasta to a boil in the rice pot, and then you can microwave the sauce, or even put it on top of the rice pot in the steamer, just to keep it hot. And then once the noodles is boiling and done, you go ahead and strain the noodles out, and then you put the sauce right on top of that, sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese, and there you have it. Okay, so you can divide these up in small containers so that you have individual cartons of spaghetti sauce. Now, if you plan to use this, you could use this for pizza sauce. I would add, in that particular dish, I would add some sugar to give it a little sweeter taste, because pizza has a tendency to be on a sweeter side as far as sauce is concerned. And it already has meat in it, so no problem, right? You can add sausages and other of your favorite pizza foods.